customize your life. Like, that is what I'm on right now, bro. Customize your life. Like, I look at you, bro, you wearing cloud shorts right now. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you literally had an idea and you're wearing it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think about the fact that one day I'm going to get with an architect, design my own house, build that shit, and then live in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to think of my next campaign for my music and then do it. You know, I'm going to go live in Spain, like, and do it. And we have all this independence, but I want to, you know, kind of give some balance to this context. What are the advantages or disadvantages of having so much independence now? Are there any things that you miss about being part of a big structure? Or are there things that like you like, nah, this is perfect, I like it this way?
This is perfect, but it's perfect is a strong word because it's not perfect.
Right.
But I just think for what I ultimately wanted, it was time. And you know, the last year, you know, even it's crazy because like when the universe is working, there are bumps that you don't agree with or are tough, but it's like this had to happen, you know what I mean? Like this couldn't have been just a flat journey because that doesn't exist. So I think that, you know, a lot of things sort of happened that led us to this. A year ago, when a lot of the All Def squad left, we thought it was all over. You know what I mean? We were told that we might not have jobs the next week. So there was like a week where we were sort of like scared. And it was a good scared. We even recognized it right away as a good scared because we were just like ignited creatively again. Whereas when you're comfortable, we were sort of like we were doing the motions and making stuff, but at the same time we were never like back against the wall. So the reason why a lot of the squad left is because like someone like Kev was crazy popular at the time. So it's like you tell a dude who's has options that it might be over, and they got kids and families and stuff like that. He's, you know, he set up the rest of his tour. He set up merch, blah 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 blah. So that a week later, when we were told no, we're good, some people were already like, okay, even if you kept me, I couldn't be here that much because of the other stuff. So you know, some of us couldn't make things happen that fast. Right. But you know, even for people like me and Doughboy and stuff, we we're like, okay, it's time to finally get on this merch. We've been slacking with it. You know, we need to start really thinking about all this other stuff. And then we were good. So then we like, even though that we got that first igniting, we settled down again, right? And then like outside forces like Nipsey dying and Tyler Perry pushing ownership. There's just this huge wave of like own your own stuff was just like all in my ear. And then this whole past year I was kind of just like, I was very hesitant to give shows. We didn't have that many shows on All Def. All the shows were suggested by executives because I was just like, what if this takes off again and I'm just kind of like, behind, yeah.
But it's theirs.
Because Dad Jokes and Roast Me, although it took off and I'm very grateful for it, it's like there was a lot that I wasn't included on, because I was just sort of signed to them. I didn't own anything. Right. That's why people are saying like MTV took Roast Me. Patrick, do something. It's like, even if I went through all the legal stuff, I could only prove that now you give something to All Def, So I think that the first shakeup, the whole ownership push, all the BS that happened behind the scenes that led to All Def closing, which wasn't in my control, and then it was all just like very formulaic. You know what I mean? I see that it's happening for a reason, and the fact that I've been thinking about this whole time is very big too. Right. So now it's just like, the comfortability and the assurance of staying afloat is gone, but owning everything and being ignited creatively and sort of just putting more time into everything, it just feels a lot better. And then like once that rough stage ends and it's smooth coasting like it was a couple months ago when I had a job anyway, then it's like, okay, it's the same comfortability, but the ownership is all there. I don't feel a certain way about it.
Now you own the structure and the channels of distribution. You're overseeing everything. Yeah, and like I'm so excited about being part of this era right now. Because I feel like we've been properly prepared in a lot of ways through the last 10, 12 years pursuing music.
Same.
As somewhere else. I don't know if we properly mentioned this, but somewhere else. Me, you, Cecil, Jono, the band version with Chris Blanket of the internet, Elvis Keane of Fiddler, you know, J-Fit, I think he's playing with a popular church band right now, you know?
Nice.
Like, we come from going through that label situation and really being so seduced by, like, just being in the studio, just being at the offices, you know, will seduce you into signing that paper so you can stay there. You know what I mean? Not understanding that roast me, let's say roast me and dad jokes alone, you probably paid or helped pay for the staff for everybody, you know what I mean, off of the ideas that you brought to the table.
That's why I didn't want to leave until the doors closed.
Right.
Because
it's your money in a lot of ways. Like, there's a bigger percentage that you're due. But just because of the structure of the...
Oh, wait, what?
There's probably a bigger percentage of the funds that were generated by Dad Jokes and Roast Me that if you had owned it, you would have cut yourself a bigger deal. Obviously.
Oh, yeah,
so,
for sure.
I'm saying your money that came from your intellectual property, you know, has gone to fund everybody else's stuff, you know, keep the whole thing afloat.
Yeah.
It don't cost that much to keep you afloat as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see this transition, you know, like... We got a lot of momentum going, and this customization that you're talking about, customizing your life, like, we could do anything, bro. Like, we could really, I don't know, Patreon is another thing that is, like, very popular right now that is funding creatives' lives in an alternative way. Like, these are now business models. You know what I'm saying? YouTuber, is that what it's called? Like, if you were my taxes, YouTuber?
I don't know what it's called.
YouTuber, you know, because, like, I'm sure there are people who don't have no W-2s because they just do YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting no tax return.
YouTube does, they give you W-2s now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's part of the Google AdSense. Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. It's really, it's a very complex business, but if you twist it right, like, I know people making sickening amounts of money off of YouTube and Patreon. Like, Patreon is getting, I think, like, I want to say, like, the top, if you look up the top creators in Patreon, I want to say, like, the first, number one, last time I checked, was, like, a science podcast that was making, like, $120
a month?
Something like that. Something dumb. Don't quote me, but it was, like, this was, like, number one also. But it's, like, if you... It's all about locking in your fan base. People think that you need a Michael Jackson fan base. People in Antarctica talking about, where's Patrick Cloud at? Like, it's not about that. It's about, like, I think maybe you said that something like fan bases don't have to be horizontal. They just need to be vertical. You, like... No, you didn't say that. You definitely didn't say that.
Definitely didn't.
But it's, like, literally, like, if your fan base are, like... you know, 25 to 35-year-old Indian people in India. You know, I said in India, so you didn't think I meant the racial term. Yeah, like that's your market, and if you kill it in that area, I just met with these people who were, like, doing YouTube in Indonesia and, like, Thailand, and they are getting crazy amounts of traction. But it's like you would never notice it because it's just a whole different thing, you know?
Yeah, bro. That's how many people there. That's like the amount of digital real estate there is, you know what I mean? There's so much room for people to keep building, and we're trying to build in these small congested cities. Like, everybody's trying to get a New York thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want something in New York, but it's like, yo, go to New Jersey, go to Connecticut, you know what I'm saying? Build something, and you can create some traffic. You can create a lot of traffic. It's wild.
It's the best time to create. And it's funny, like, even mentioning somewhere else, sometimes I think, like, seeing everything a little bit closer, I don't even know if I could have handled any of that stuff at an age before now, you know what I mean? Like 20 to 25, like, I don't know how these kids are going through these businesses at these young ages, because, like, the graveyard compared to you see a Lil Pump that's 17 years old that's like, man, how do you do that? But the graveyard of people behind him that's just like 17, 18-year-olds in that same position that just got screwed by, you know, contracts or like, it is crazy. So it's like working for yourself and doing all those things in different channels is for sure the move, because that would have ate me alive. I already know it. I already know it.
It's just crazy how it's just time, bro. Like, the time and the way that things come full circle. You know, the people that we met at that time, the connections, it just all plays itself out over time. You know, you don't really know why this shit's happening until it's like 5 years later, and you look back and you're like, damn, I needed to be right there. We need for that to fail. Because bro, we thought we was about to be I don't know who we thought we was about to be at somewhere else. You know, world tour. We had won this Battle of the Bands in Dublin.
Oh right, I forgot. They did say it was gonna be like a world tour.
So the thing that I was talking about, where we were part of the Battle of the Bands, I don't know if you watched the episode with Olympia. We talked about a competition, a school-wide competition, and we had to create a company that was going to throw shows to find a band. So just so happens that we were part of that band. We end up competing against schools all around the city. We win, and then we compete against schools from all around the world in Dublin, and we win that. So just imagine, you 18, you fresh out of high school, you just traveled abroad, you know, you buzzing, and you're getting to this point where the romanticism, you're so seduced by it, you know what I mean? We would have signed anything, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
We would have signed anything.
I already know. We won too early. Way too early. And I think the interesting alternate reality is like, what would Hungary somewhere else have done, as opposed to like, oh well shit, like we just won a world tour. It's good. Let's sit back in the studio and wait for Jimmy Iovine to pull up. He should be knocking any minute. Like, it was just a really dumb, non-go-getter attitude that we adapted.